I'm making my 2-inch ball peony and coloring it with Pan Pastel. I'm showing 2 different ways. Here I'm just adding color to the very edge of each layer of petals. It doesn't look like much until you shape it and assemble the different layers, and then it's a really striking little flower. Another option is to just add color to the center of each petal, and you need to do this on both sides of each layer of petals. I'll shape the center strip next so it has time to dry while I'm shaping the petals. I'll use a wooden skewer and just fold over the very tips of it this way and that way just to add some natural shape to the center before I roll it up. And then I'll roll it up using a quilling tool. And when I start rolling, I add a little bit of glue to hold it in place. You don't really have to, especially with one this small. But I add that little bit of glue, and then I will roll it up and add another tiny dot of glue when I get to the very end, and try to keep it as flat as you can while you're rolling it. Next, I'll add a little shape to the calyx, just curling it up with a ribbon curling technique. I'm adding a little wire through the bottom. This is going to be a flexible wire. If I was adding a stiff wire, I would attach that to the bottom of the center instead of the bottom of the calyx. Now we'll start shaping the petals, and I use a plastic quilling mold and the metal ball tool, and you're just going to apply firm pressure to the entire surface of the petal, taking on the bowl shape of the mold. The first 3 layers of petals are all shaped in exactly the same way in the same size cups. They all start in the 25mm cup and then move them over to the 20mm cup to add a little more curve to each petal. The 4th layer of petals will start being shaped in the 25mm cup, pressing firmly on the entire surface, and then we'll move it over to the 20mm cup and finish this off in the 17mm cup. And it's easier to do starting in the larger cup where it easily fits, rather than trying to go straight to that smaller cup. The 5th layer is the very top layer, and we'll start in the 20mm cup and then move down to the 17mm cup. And finally, move it into the 15. And it's a tight fit. You really have to press it in there, but it makes a really pretty flower when you get a really nice tight ball on that top layer of petals. Now we will cup each layer using the metal ball tool and a shaping mat underneath. You don't need to do much to the outermost layers, but as you get closer to the top layers, you want to apply pressure at the base of the petal and draw it toward the center, and that will pull each petal up. And then we apply a circular motion in the center to draw it up into a ball. And you might have to help untangle the petals around each other so that they evenly overlap, and it will come together more easily into a ball shape that way. Now I will assemble the flower on my DIY paper flower tool, adding a little bit of glue between each layer and using fine tip tweezers to apply pressure where each layer meets. It just needs a little bit of glue. I'm using Art Glitter Glue Dries Clear with the fine metal tip. These little flowers can be a little fussy to put together, and just take the time to move them around so that each layer is offset so that it just has a more natural look. And as you get to the top layers, you're gonna have to kind of smoosh it in there and maybe use the tweezers to pull some petals out of the way in order for it to fit into place. But all of these different parts are pretty sturdy, and They can handle whatever you need to do to maneuver it into place. You do want to be careful to keep the glue very close to that center circle, because if the glue comes farther out on the petals, you will lose some of the roundness that we've got through shaping. So keep the glue very close to the center spot. I'm going to glue the center in place now. I like to pull some of the bits out a little bit to open it up, make it a little fluffier before I glue it in place. I pick it up with fine tip tweezers and add a good amount of glue to the back side. You would probably want some wax paper or something behind where you put it down and glue it, because some glue might come through the little hole. And this is what the peony looks like that had the Pan Pastel applied to the center of the petals. Which one do you like best?